My name's Sarah, and I'm going to be taking you through some yoga and some stretching today. And we're going to look at some essential stretches that we can do on the floor, starting to awaken the senses and warm up the body. Okay, so let's get straight into it. We're going to start as we did last week in a cross-legged position. I did mention last week that if you do have tight hips, you may like to just place a towel, a pillow, or a yoga block if you have one, to elevate the hips to help you feel a little bit more comfortable. But let's start with the breath. So you can relax the hands down on the knees, relax the shoulders away from the ears, close the eyes or soften the gaze just to focus on nothing in particular. And then start to feel the breath coming in and out of your nose. Start to feel as you inhale the expansion of your lungs, your ribs, your belly. And then compress and feel those areas fall. As you inhale, you might feel uplifted and open. As you exhale, you might feel parts of the body that are touching the floor, grounding down, allowing for more stability. We'll just take another 3 breaths here. Starting to warm the body from the inside out. One last breath here. And you can blink the eyes open. We're going to move from our cross-legged posture and come all the way up and over into tabletop. So meet me here. You're going to place the hands spread down on the mat and place those wrists underneath your shoulders. Your knees will be underneath the hip joints, and you want to make sure that you're not just letting belly relax there, you're pulling the navel and the belly back towards the spine, and we're trying to create that tabletop feeling that if I was to come and place a glass of water on you, it would be nice and still until we moved. Okay, so nice, even, neutral spine here. We want the crown of the head to be reaching forward, the tailbones to be reaching back. And we're going to start to move through the spine in a way that allows it to mobilize for yoga or the day or just in any way that we might need. So we're going to start to lift the spine, and as you do, relax your head down and just let the crown of the head fall. You might want to hold here for a moment and just shake the head out in a no direction. Make sure the fingers are spread. We're going to dive this the other way. So start to tilt the belly down. You can take the gaze slightly forward or up, depending on how that feels for your neck. And then exhale, push it away. Starting to mold with the breath. Inhale, drop the belly, looking forward and up. Exhale, pushing the floor away, lifting the back of the rib cage, head drops. Inhale, feel your heart space, your sternum reaching forward between the arms. Exhale, push it away. 2 more like this, breathing in. Breathing out, feeling flexion of your spine. And last time, breathing in, extending your spine, back bend there, and exhale, push it away. We'll arrive back into our neutral spine. We're going to explore a little bit of balance here. I'm going to get you to take your right toes back behind you and just start to feel as you lift the toes off the floor. When you're ready, you're going to lift them all the way off. We want to keep them in line with the glutes, not higher, so we're not little dipping down through the lower back. We're keeping that neutral spine, pulling the belly back in. All right, when you're ready, it's the left fingertips that will come forward and your left arm reaches up. If you're feeling a little wobbly, that's okay, completely normal. Think of reaching those limbs away and then finding balance in the middle. We're going to take them out on the diagonal, so reach them apart from one another and then come back to center. Inhale here, take it out wide, diagonal, and back to center. One more time, out wide, and then back to center. From here, we'll take the knee, the elbow, and the nose down underneath us. Lift the spine like you did in our previous movement, and then lengthen out. 2 more just like that. Exhale here. Inhale as you reach. Last time, exhale. and reach and lower down. From here, I know that we've just had quite a lot of weight on that right hand. So I'm going to invite you to curl your toes under. And while we move through this hand that's just been on the floor, I want you to sit back onto your toes. So we're going to invite a little bit of a toe stretch here. Now this feels really different for everyone. If you're unable to lean your butt down on your heels, I want you to stay upright, but still try and curl the toes under. Take this at a level that feels good for you. You might be seated and feel okay, so you might lean back. And all I want to do here is the hand that we were leaning on, the right hand, we're going to take some rotations through that hand. Start to notice any sensations through the palms, maybe start to scrunch a little bit. We're warming up through the wrist with those rotations, and with the scrunching, we're starting to fire up through the forearms. We do spend a little bit of time, or quite a bit of time, on our wrists and our hands in yoga and with general stretches, so it's nice just to give them a little bit of a warm up. All right, how are the toes? Let's come out of that. Bring the hands back down. Give the toes a little tap. And we're going to go straight to the other side. So when you're ready, take your left foot back and lift it up. Draw the belly in, long spine. Right hand reaches forward and then up. Inhale, taking it out wide on the diagonal. Exhale, coming back to center. Inhale, reaching long. Exhale to center. Last time, breathing in and breathing out. Inhale here, reach the limbs longer away apart from one another and curl under. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl. One more time. And then when you're ready, let's bring the hand down, the foot down, curl the toes. We'll sink back onto the toes for our toe stretch. See if you can go a little bit further. Our left hand this time, you might scrunch, you might take your wrist rotations. While we're here, let's just do both hands. All right. And then just give it a shake. Plant those hands back down, tap your toes out. Nice. So our extremities are starting to feel a little bit warmer. We're going to now come into our first twist. So from here, I'm going to get you to take your right arm up towards the ceiling. As you do, think of stacking your shoulders and reaching up as high as you can. So try not to dump into that lower hand. Lift up tall and rotate. As you exhale, you're going to bring the hand underneath, reach across to the left, and just tap down as you drop your shoulder, your face towards the floor, reach. We're going to keep this dynamic. Inhale, lift the arm back up. Exhale, curl it under. Inhale, lifting back up. Exhale, curl. Last time, reaching all the way up, stack the shoulders, open the chest. And then landing this time, taking your hand underneath you. Okay, if you can, I want you to rest your head on the floor. If not, stay where you're feeling the rotation through your rib cage, through your shoulders, all along the length of the spine. All right, you're going to stay elevated. If you can drop down onto the shoulder and the side of the head, I want you to use your left hand, press into the floor and roll a little deeper into that. And then as you breathe, I want you to feel the breath through the outer edges of your rib cage. Just 2 more breaths here. You'll feel like your tailbones are pointing up to the ceiling, and can you stabilize by drawing down through your shins? Last breath. And then slowly sweep the arm back up, opening towards the ceiling one last time, and relaxing all the way down. Straight to the other side, lifting your left arm, breathing in. Exhale, tipping under. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, tipping under. Inhale, reaching up, stack the shoulders, open the chest, and then exhale, landing down. You might use that right hand to roll deeper in towards your left shoulder. Take a deep breath there. An extra variation, if you'd like to take it, shins are placing down towards the mat. You can take your right hand and bind it just on the lower back. So maybe you just reach for the lower back, or you might reach for the inner thigh on your left side. Take 1 more breath here. If that right hand is bound, bring the right hand back down. Left arm lifts to the ceiling. Deep breath in. And then exhale, relax. All right, take a cat pose. So we're lifting our spine, relaxing the head. Curl your toes under, and I want you just to walk your hands back. You're going to lift up off your knees and come into a crouched plie style position, okay? So we're just going to start to swing the knees from side to side. You can have your heels elevated. And just start to notice how it feels through the hips, through the knee joints. Of course, if you have any injuries and something isn't feeling good, just step it back and join in when it feels good for you, okay? So just working within where you are today, even if it means that your plie position is up here. Sometimes we might have knee injuries that allow or don't allow as much flexion through the knee, okay? If you are all the way down, I want you to start to walk your hands forward. You might start to feel this through the adductors, the inner thigh, or right into the groin. See if you can take your fingertips a little bit further, and then when you're ready, gaze drops down, head releases down between the arms. And you can find some stillness in the movement of the legs and the hips. We'll take 3 breaths. Inhale, exhale, deep breath in and out. And one more breath. Inhale, exhale. I'm going to start to bring our weight forward again. You can lower down onto those knees and then come back into your tabletop. All right, let's move into some lateral flexion. So we're looking at side bending all along the length of both sides of the body. We'll start by taking our left toes back. You can tap them down. This is probably one of my favorite side bends we're moving into now. You're going to take your right foot over to the right, so swinging it out to the right, ground down through that back left foot, and then make sure that you shuffle your right hand across so that it's underneath your right shoulder. You're going to lift your left arm up towards the ceiling. Really feel that lift. So you'll start to feel the rib cage lift as well. And then when you're ready, you're going to take the hand overhead and feel the length from the fingertips to the outer edge of your foot. Keep lengthening here. If you want to go a little further, you can let the head drop. You might get a deep neck stretch there. Or for more than this, you're going to take your hand, cup the back of the head, and pull this top left elbow back as you rotate. Start to shine your heart forward and up towards the ceiling. Take another breath there. And then slowly releasing it down. Oh, that felt nice. And coming back into tabletop. Getting ready for the other side. Take your right toes back. Your left toes over to the left. Align the shoulder over the wrist as you lift your right arm up towards the ceiling. Breathe in. And then exhale as you reach overhead. Take it long. Reach, reach. And feel the rib cage lifting. Maybe cup the back of the head. Start to rotate that top elbow back. Heart shining forward or up. One more breath here. And then arriving back into center. Let's come all the way back down into child's pose. So big toes are going to touch. You can keep your knees together or slightly apart. And you're going to drop your tail back towards your heels. And then reach the arms forward. Allow the chest to drop down. Maybe the head reaches the floor as well. Now, for some of you that are feeling quite tight or haven't been in this posture before, it's not uncommon to feel like you can't take your tail all the way back to your heels. So just allow it until you can, or allow yourself to find some depth here, all right? And then you're going to stack your fists and rest your head down onto your hands. So just take this where it feels good for your knee joints, your hip joints, your lower back. And every inhale that you take, you'll think about lengthening the spine, whether it be by reaching your fingertips forward or by sinking your tailbones back. We'll breathe in again here. Exhale it out. Breathing in. Exhale. And one more time, breathing in. Exhale. And then very slowly come all the way up. Once you've reached a nice upright position, we're going to roll off to one side. And you can stay facing the top of your mat or somewhere that you're able to see me. We're going to come into a butterfly position. I feel like this is the one universal stretch you get taught when you're at school, unless there's a specific flexibility training session. I just remember that we always just did this pose before we played netball. All right, so obviously we have some external rotation through your hips. Now, one thing I love to say over and over is our bodies get good at what we do the most of. So if your body is sitting at a desk or sitting on the couch a lot at the moment, then you do mold and become that pose. All right, slouching through the shoulders, tightness through your hip flexors, tightness through the hips in general from just the forward motion of walking, sitting, standing. Okay, so anything that we can do to open the hips is going to help alleviate tension and pressure here, and also here. Okay, so let's come into a butterfly pose. Baddha Konasana, if we're getting technical in yogi terms, but not always important. All right, we're going to grab a hold of the toes or the ankles, and I want you to sit up as tall as you can here. Relax your shoulders down. All right, once again, like when we started the class, if you feel like this and you feel like this, the best thing you can do for yourself is tuck a rolled up towel or a cushion or something to elevate your hips, and you'll just be able to, in a sense, ease into the pose without feeling like you're holding yourself there. All right, we're going to take an inhale here. As you exhale, let the knees feel heavy, drop them down a little bit further. Okay, deep breath in. Exhale, let it sink down and out. One more time, deep breath in. And sink. Keeping this external rotation of the hips, I'm going to invite you to slide your feet forward. So you start to create this long diamond shape through the legs, okay? From here, what we're going to do is try to wiggle the tailbones back like you're trying to stick your butt out behind you. If you have super tight hamstrings, that will feel a little difficult to do. And still, once again, you can be elevated on a cushion, a towel, or a block, all right? What we are going to do from here is slump. In a moment. So what I want you to do is think about lengthening the body forward, which will have that tilt of the pelvis of poking your tail out behind you, and then take your arms wherever they'll reach. So you might get to the shins, the ankles, and you're going to start to curl the spine, curve the spine, and drop the chin down into the chest. We're inviting the body into a variation of turtle pose here. It's also one of our final stretches for today. Feel free to close the eyes and really begin to turn the awareness inward now that the physical body is also turning inward and away from everything external. Start to feel the belly as you breathe here, expanding forward and then pulling back. Some of you may like to advance this a little bit further. Just see how you feel. You might like to take your hands on the inside of the calves and thread them underneath the calves. Okay, the elbows might be floating, or you might be able to relax the elbows down, but we're once again going to drop the head down and breathe. If you're somebody that's experiencing a pinching pain through the outer edge of the leg here, that's your IT band getting a nice deep stretch along the edge. And don't hesitate if you need to shuffle the heels in if you feel like there's a little bit too much of that tension. Okay, so just adjust the body into a space where you can breathe and soften. We'll just take 3 more breaths here, feeling that breath expand behind you through the backs of your lungs, your ribs. And then exhale, let yourself droop forward a little further. Deep breath in. Sinking that breath out. Last time, deep breath in. And exhale that breath out. On your next inhale, start to roll the spine up. You might want to take those hands behind you. Just give your legs a little shake out. Notice how you feel right now. It might be a little calmer than when we started, or a little bit more relaxed, maybe even sleepy. Feel free to practice these stretches over the next week until I see you again. But I look forward to seeing you next Friday. We're going to be looking at flowing on the mat through our sun salutations. So until then, have a great week. Let's make better habits.